Howdy, I'm Doodle the Alien, resident bitch baby and village idiot, and today I'm going to be redrawing some of my old art. I'm going to take 3 old drawings, critique them, and then redraw them, and at the end I'm going to point out where I think I personally improved, and then maybe like 2 things that I still need to work on or something, and then like I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get into it, love bugs. So here is the first drawing. This one was from around 2019, and you can tell I wasn't sure what I wanted in my art style, and that's okay. I was just playing around and seeing what I liked. I remember being really proud of this one actually, which is really shocking considering I ended up deleting most of my digital art from 2018 to 2019 because of how self-conscious I was. Plus, I didn't put a lot of effort in creativity-wise. I really just wanted to play around with like a space background with like the nebula brush in Procreate. Her pose is sort of unclear. I was very lazy with anatomy because I wasn't very good at it. In fact, I was very lazy with a lot of things because I wasn't good at it back then. I was very afraid of stepping out of my comfort zone. And if I drew a hand, it was most likely just that, just a single hand, and I do not like how that one looks. She looks incredibly depressed, like depressed as hell, which looking back on it was probably me projecting. And that is one thick-ass neck. Her face is crooked, and I despise her hair. But let's get into my process behind the redraw. So I knew immediately that I wanted to turn this character into a superhero, and I just wanted her to have like a sunnier disposition in general. You'll see that I got to the coloring stage before I scrapped the entire first design because I wasn't happy with it, and I realized that while I wanted to keep the original green and purple color scheme, I wanted some warmer colors in the entire illustration, specifically on her. So I gave her a cape, which I knew was where I wanted her pop color to go. I also wanted to keep her hair short, and I had it fade into like a pretty white because in the line art, in the original drawing, it's really hard to notice, but at the very tips of her hair, it's like white. I'm not sure what I was going for, but I was clearly not confident about it. I used a very light yellow for her cape, and I wasn't sure how I felt about that light yellow, but once I got to the shading and I got like the background and stuff done, I did like a glow effect with like yellow and orange, and I ended up really happy with the end result, especially with the background, like with the pink in the background of like the swirling pinks and blues in the background for the space. I am really proud of this one. Moving on. Here is the original next to the new, and I'm really proud of this. Like, what a glow up. She went from stick to thick and depressed to like healthy. And I'm just really proud of her. Like, we stan buff women in this household. Okay, geez, do I have to show this one? Okay, fine. Yeah, this one is from 2018, so the anatomy is even worse than the last drawing. The proportions of Zim's face are so wrong and wonky. The line art is thick and black and wobbly. The colors are gray and muddy and gross. And while I'm proud of 15-year-old me for trying to draw a background, it's not a good one. And don't even get me started on Gur. Like, ew, gross. What the hell is that? Kill it. Burn it with fire. I did Zim and Gur so dirty. So as one of many who grew up with the show Invader Zim, I wanted to repent for my past sins, or whatever. I originally made Zim taller than I should have on accident, so I knew I wanted to stick to his actual design as much as possible this time around. Zim is a small and cute character, always has been. Even in the 2001 show, he was small and cute, except for that one episode where he went around and stole all those human organs and shit. That was a horrifying episode. I think that was the first time I was actually like terrified of him. And I'm surprised I even liked the show so much because even on the more tame episodes, like the art style, it was so creepy. Oh God, it gave me nightmares. I do not know why I loved that show so much. But moving on, I originally wanted the background to be a school, but I was being really hard on myself because it didn't look right. I've been trying so hard not to focus too much on like making things perfect, because if I focus too much on making things perfect, then I'll never get out of the sketching phase of a drawing, and I'll never improve and stuff. So I just decided to take a break from actually drawing and look up Invader Zim comics and concept art. I really liked all the exaggeration I found, and the line art in the comics were very thick and jagged. Like, the Invader Zim comics and even the show, like, it really played a lot with, like, perspective and exaggeration. I really liked that, and I think in the future I want to, like, incorporate that into my art at some point, because I really liked it that much. And I really just loved the thick line art, like I said. It was even on the characters. But ultimately, when I got what I wanted and got like some inspiration, I decided to go for a dog park in the background, and thought it would be cute to have like a dog and a human freaking out in the background. Yeah, I think I did very well, and I especially did right by Gurv this time around. He's so cute. I made him cute and pudgy and round and stuff. I really hope you like him. Here is the original next to the new. I do wish I used purple to shade everything instead of like that light red. I think I used too much green too, but the new is so much better in comparison. And at the very least, you can see where Zim and Gur are compared to the rest of it. So I don't think it looks horrible. This one, I believe, is from the end of 2019. I was still experimenting with my style, but I was starting to get better at anatomy. That being said, the liner is still very wobbly, and it's also, like, kind of thin. I'm not sure if I like thin line art or not. The pose is very stiff, and, like, incredibly stiff. And, like, where the ankles are and, like, the hands, like, it's too jagged in my opinion. It's just bent awkwardly. I'm not sure what I was doing with the blue swirls either. Oh my god. I think I wanted it to look a little less plain, but back then I was still a little too afraid to, you know, step out of my comfort zone, and that's what you have to do if you want to improve at anything. You have to keep trying new things and stuff. But yeah, let's get into my process behind the... At first, I wanted to draw the character alone because I was feeling lazy, and I wanted them to, like, you know, be propped up against the wall, looking cool, looking like a hipster, looking unbothered, in their turtleneck and shades. But then I decided to go a more wholesome route, and I drew them sitting at the table and enjoying their morning, and I thought it would be nice to give them a cute girlfriend. There was no shading in the original, so I went crazy with it in the new version, and I also wanted the new to be warmer than the original, because in the original I used like a bunch of those blue swirls, so I thought it'd be cool to have this one be all warm and yellow and all that, and so I used a bright yellow for the lighting and stuff. I had lots of fun with it. Here's the original next to the new, and I definitely think this one is my favorite. I think it's just so cute and warm, and I'm really proud of myself for stepping out of my comfort zone and just, you know, drawing a table and chairs. And I'll admit, I cheated a little bit on the chairs. I used a copy and paste or whatever, but, you know, I can do what I want. It's my art. I can do what I want to make it easier. Yeah, here it is. I think it's adorable. So where have I improved? Definitely my anatomy. In the past, I was so bad that I always drew my characters in very unclear poses where one or both hands were hidden. I simply drew, or I simply drew like busts of my characters. But now I'm not afraid to draw a character from head to toe. My poses are more dynamic, and while I still struggle with hands and feet, I've gotten much better at drawing them. I've gotten better at coloring and shading. My colors are brighter, and I have a much better understanding of where light and shadows go. And lastly, my line art overall. I have so much more confidence in my wrist and my hand, and so my line art is much nicer to look at. And while I'd love to have thinner line art with a smoother brush, I definitely love the textured look, especially after the shading. There is always room for improvement. I'm still not the best at drawing backgrounds or staying consistent when I draw my OCs, but I can't wait to see what my art will look like in 4 years, or even just one. This was so much fun. With that being said, that is where I will end this video. If you made it to this point, I'd like to thank you for sticking around. My commissions are open. I have a Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram if you want to follow me and, help me grow, or if you want, to commission me. And with that being said, I think I'm gonna go. Later, love bugs.